Hi friends, welcome back to the Plain Fun RC channel. Let's talk about what we've got going on here today. So we've begun the sheeting process. So you can see here we've got our foam, we've got our top and bottom of each core, and the initial sheeting is actually on the wing. You can see it right there. So the process is this: you're going to take out the top, you're going to take out the core. We're starting with the outer wing panels. You're going to go ahead and take a sheet that matches the panel, in this case the longer panels. You're going to take it outside on a clean surface, hit it with a light mist on the bottom of the sheeting and the top of the core using 3M77. And then you're going to wait 5 minutes. Then go back, do it again, wait 10 minutes. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to attach our sheeting to our core. Now, for the directions, I've got it right here, as you can see, and you can always hit pause if you want to see the full directions on the process there. And then once you're going to only do the top surface on all the cores first, and then trim off the excess and trim away any notches that exist for spars or things of that nature. Okay. I made one small mistake on this one over here. I didn't position it properly, but I just remembered a technique from years ago, and I will talk about it in just a second because the other piece is about ready to be put down. All right, more to come. All right, friends, let me show you the technique that we're going to use to attach the top sheet, the bottom half of the top sheet to the top of the core. So this technique will allow for proper positioning, and that's very important when you're working with foam cores. So we're going to go through, we're going to line, always you're going to start with your leading edge first. Start with your leading edge first, looking at it all around, making sure it looks nice and even. And then very carefully, you're going to set it down, starting with the leading edge, and just a gentle pressure along the way, and then very gradually and evenly we're going to roll it back, and the adhesive adheres very quickly, and then we're going to place it into the foam core. Okay, so that allows for a nice even application of the wood, and we'll place it back into the foam core, and we're going to take our top here and we're going to place it back on top of the foam core itself. And then we're going to get our weights and put our weights on there. The weights help to ensure that the curvature of the sheeting matches the curvature of the actual core itself. Now, you may have to check it to make sure it's sitting on the core evenly. Over here, it's a little off. And that's real important. You want to get it as even as possible. There we go. Okay, let's start with this end here. I'll hold it in place, and we'll go with this end here. And I need to move this over just a little bit so we can fit our other 10-pound weight here. Like so. We're going to move this down a little bit. Make sure that whatever you're using, be it weights, bags of lead shot are always best. But if you don't have bags of lead shot, what works really well are bags of rocks from your local craft store. And I just discovered that today by accident. I happen to have a bag sitting around. So I'll probably have to pick up some more. But nonetheless, that's the technique. I think if you use that, you'll always have a wing core or cover of the wing that will always come out right. All right, folks, more to come. All right, friends, as we continue our sheeting of the foam cores, we're getting ready to do this section here. As indicated here on the plans, you want to make sure you wet that top surface over up here with this piece with a damp sponge before pressing it down to the foam core, otherwise you'll crack the sheeting. So what I did over here, let me show you. We've got 1 part, in this bottle right here, we've got 1 part rubbing alcohol, 1 part water. My father taught me this many years ago. The alcohol actually helps the water to evaporate a little faster, so that way you get what you need in terms of the bend, but you don't get the possibility of it causing any warping. So much like the others, we've got our bottom half of the core here covered in wax paper, and we have our top half over here, and we're just waiting for our 10-minute period to end, so the spray adhesive is nice and tacky. All right, more to come. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and sheet the center section. So let's go through the technique of exactly what we need to do. First, we're going to lay down our sheeting, as you can see. And we're going to go ahead once again, and we're going to put this piece on top. Now, a little different. This piece, as you can see from the side, is much flatter in here, and the curved portion is in here. So we're going to take it, we're going to turn it over, like so. We want to make sure that we give an ample amount of wood in the area over in here. Okay, and what I'm talking about, let me show you what I'm pointing to. Pointing to the portion up in here. So be careful as you're laying it down. Take your time. Get it nice and even with the bottom. You're going down more towards the bottom corner. And then just very gently put it down until it makes contact, like so. All right, so very gently we're going to push along the areas here that are already in contact with the table. Now, when we go to do this part over in here, we're talking about this section right here, we need to make sure that we're applying some water to that area so it's able to fold over. So to do that, we're going to take it and we're going to turn it over this way. We're going to take our one part alcohol, 1 part water, and we're going to put a little bit on a paper towel. Get it wet. Of course, we can always wring it out. That's the important thing. We'll set this aside. And now we're going to take it and we're going to wet that area, like so. A little damper. There we go. That's better. And you want to make sure you wet the whole thing down, because this curve is very, very tight, and you don't want to run the risk of cracking the wood. And what you want to do is get this into the actual mold, by the way, the bottom half, okay, as you're doing this, so it helps to maintain its proper shape while you're getting the wood to adhere. Here we go. And really work to keep this in place. Move in a downward fashion, like so. Downward fashion. So we're getting the wood to curve over. And of course, you want to make sure you're getting it all around. That's real important. Just like that. Got a good bond here. Like I said, this is a very tight curve on this portion of the wing. All right, so we've got that in place. Let's take a quick look. That looks really good. You can see it right there. Notice how the tight fit. I don't know if it's really clear from that angle, but if you look right there, it's a good fit. Good enough for us to go ahead and then take the top portion and put it on with weights. Once again, make sure this is centered properly on the bottom core. and then go ahead and put your top core on as well. Make sure that's centered as well. It's a little difficult because it does slide around a little bit on the wax paper, but that's okay. And then we'll take our weights and we'll put our weights on there to hold it in place. We'll start with the rear and work from there. Okay, let's get our bag of stone. There we go. Yeah, that's giving it a good, helps to maintain the contours. So bag of stone or lead shot is going to be your best bet for this portion. Go like this instead. Yeah, that's good. Once again, make sure it's centered properly. That's real important. This is off a little bit. There we go, much better. Okay, now we can put our stone on there and we'll be good to go. And we'll go like this a little bit. There we go, that's better. Much better. All right, so we'll let that sit for a half an hour. And then after that, we're done with the top half of that one. And we'll do the top half of the other middle section and more to come. All right, friends, as we continue our update here, we're jumping ahead just a little bit in the instructions. We're going to the winglets. For those that aren't sure what winglets are, that are these parts of the plane here that go on the very end. In fact, you can see them over here with this long easy I have. There's the winglets right there. Anyway, we have to sheet them. As you can see, they're just blue foam, but they're sheeted in the same exact fashion. So here's the instructions with regards to the winglets in terms of how to sheet them. Feel free to hit pause on your device there. But anyway, they're sheeted in the same fashion as the wing cores. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, friends, we have our right winglet sheeted, the top portion, if you will. We're going to be doing the bottom in a second. Now, the important thing to keep in mind, once you have the sheeting on one side, just like the wing pieces, if you have notches that need to be cut out, you got to cut those out beforehand. Also, trim off any excess on the sides because it's a lot easier to do it before you put the other half of the sheeting in place. So just something to keep in mind. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put on the second piece of wood on the top. More to come. All right, friends, continuing with our update here. We've got our fins fully sheeted. Came out really nice. Just take your time when you're putting the sheeting on. I had accidentally sprayed one in the wrong direction, but it's okay. It came out fine. Anyway, so they're done. They're trimmed. We'll let those sit until we actually start to get ready to add them on. We have to add our leading edge and our trailing edge and a couple other pieces as well. So they're done. Right now what we're doing is we're focusing on getting these other pieces trimmed. And then once these last two pieces are trimmed, then we'll go ahead and we'll start assembling our different parts of the wing into the full-size wing. All right, more to come.